we're live, and we're dumb, and we're guys. It's true.
Yeah.
We're Dumb Guy Live, and we're here. It's February 20th, 2024. I don't know why I said the date. I never say the date, but
You're like, we
I
watched
said,
Dumb Guy Live.
we watched Rev Pro High Stakes or whatever the fucking show was. I just know that
Beautiful Bothell, Washington.
High Stakes is one of their shows. It was High Stakes. See, I knew my shit. I just know. I know High Stakes. I know
The carrot gold. Wait, no, that's a German.
No, that's Progress. You idiot.
It's the
No,
Germans,
that's
actually.
WXW. Progress is
double
Strong
wrong.
Style 16. This is all the same. It's all. Anyway, Anjan it's in his living room. It's a dumb guy in Anjan's living room. We got Icon here. We got our Portuguese friend here. We
Joao
got
Sequeira.
Overlord Dan. We got Shaw. I don't even know who this is. Shaw. Like a pretty good microcosm at most times. The man who beat Chris Patton twice strikes back is feeling dumb. Simeon. Trav met ZSJ the weekend after Rev Pro.
The only good guy from Manchester, Trav.
And talked to him about what culture pro wrestling geek. Wow. I like that.
WCPW is fire. That shit was awesome.
It wasn't. It was pretty bad, but
The Prestige? The fucking
like,
Prestige?
What were they after they were what culture pro wrestling?
Defiant.
Defiant had Osprey versus Walter, if you remember.
They had Osprey versus Pac.
That was cool. Who's calling?
And Pac came out to Pac came out to the RED theme. That's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, you would like that. You would like that. Yeah, so I just want to give you a 2-message sort of set here. We've got the Prestige were gas, and then, I mean, half were nonces. But
that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Was the Mexican luchador, the British luchador? Did he end up being a bad guy?
Yeah, El Ligero. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, he was a real bad guy. He got fired from WWE.
Well, Jack Gallagher, he was the other terrible one, right? He was like a dick.
Gallagher. He was a good wrestler. I liked Jack Gallagher, but he was also a freak. Remember he was in the Rumble? Remember he was in the Royal Rumble?
Yeah.
1 year.
The one in San Antonio.
Yeah, good for Jack. I always say good for Jack Gallagher. I'm always sort of thinking that.
That was the one where Ty Dillinger came out at number 10.
All right. Well, now I'm going to be going. Yeah. Now I'm going to be going to the Defiant cage match page, and I will be doing some research here. We'll get to the bit here, but we got Defiant Wrestling. What the fuck? It's so stupid that it's called Newcastle upon Tyne or whatever it is. So fucking stupid. Who thought of that? Yeah, what is that, Jamie? Explain yourself.
It's the river. I think it's the river. They're on the river. On the river Tyne.
So did they? What did somebody build a castle and they were like, there's a new castle upon
they don't
the
call
Tyne.
Liverpool on Mersey.
Yeah, I don't know the full extent of Newcastle law. I'm not,
London on Thames.
Okay, let's see. Let's look at the match. Let's look at their last card. Built to Destroy 2019. Some guy named Drake beat No Fun Done. I don't know who the fuck HT Drake is, but I guess he still wrestles. Lucky Kid defeated Man Like is it Derice or Derice?
That's my favorite fucking ring name in all of wrestling. Man Like Derice.
Man Like.
That shit fucking pops.
South London, right?
Man Like Murph, bro.
Yeah. We'll play some FIFA.
I'm on
Lizzie Styles. Joe Hendry was on the show. He won the internet.
He was the leader of the Prestige.
Okay. I gotta be honest about something. I've been on TikTok and sometimes I get wrestling TikToks and I like the old that's like a meme. That's like him being like he appears out of nowhere. It makes me smile.
What TikTok?
I just saw Joe. It was just a Joe Hendry theme was on TikTok, and I saw it, and I was like, "Wow, that's good."
All of my wrestling TikToks have been just like people in like random settings, and then someone puts their hands up, and then the Roman Reigns theme comes on.
Yeah,
It's like,
I get those a lot.
Who the fuck are Benji and Visage? Stockton on tees from County Durham. Ugh. Nathan Cruz defeats Simon Miller. Good. I'm glad Simon wrestled. And
Why
David Starr over
Benji?
Rampage.
Rampage Brown.
Freaking yes, Rampage Brown.
He was
What
like
is
kind of a
the
hooper.
best- He was okay. I liked his match in NXT UK.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of with Walter.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah. So the best match, yeah, the Will Ospreay is involved in each of the top 4 What Culture pro wrestling matches of all time.
The Pro Wrestling World Cup thing they did was like so sick.
Marty Scurll versus Matt Riddle versus Will Ospreay. I bet that fucking 8 in 2017. Yeah. What's the worst match in their history that has lots of ratings? Alex Gracie versus Gabe Kidd versus Joseph Connors.
Is that the worst match?
Yeah.
I remember when they tried to push Alex Gracie, like he was teaming with some like other knucklehead, and like they like broke it up and like made Alex Gracie a single star. That boy was fucking terrible.
It's weird that Gabe Kidd was like a thing before New Japan. It's weird.
Did you
that
know
he was
Gabe
like a
Kidd
wrestler.
teamed with the Bullet Club in like 2017 as like a replacement when Adam Cole got sick, and like Gabe Kidd had a Bullet Club shirt on, and they attacked him, and now
Well, that's
Gabe
fun.
Kidd's like actually in the Bullet Club. Like, it's kind of wild.
That's long-term storytelling.
Am I right in saying Gabe Kidd got his start in New Japan because of, I think Suzuki was there in WCPW, and that's how that happened.
It was like something like he went to the dojo.
Nice.
Hikuleo. Anyway, this is the best conversation we've ever had on this.
Yeah.
I remember they booked Tiger Kid once, and they said they had a New Japan partnership.
Kid?
Tiger Mask, whatever the fuck. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say Alberto Del Rio against Ray. That's pretty funny. Wrestling's so fucking stupid. What were bad guys on this show? we got Ligero. We got Travis Banks. We got Alberto.
All the stars.
Was Scott Wainwright a bad guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Swords of Essex.
You click on his page, and page match, and you get a message that says, "Sorry, but this profile at the request of the worker," which I think is pretty funny.
The guy that was what's it called? Fuck. Yeah, Scott Wainwright was Ospreay's tag team partner.
Are you thinking of somebody else?
And Paul Robinson.
That's who I thought you were thinking of.
No,
Paul Robinson's like a freak. He like looks like a freak.
It was them and B.
Cool. What a good unit. All right. Anyway, that's enough of that.
I don't know. He does Joseph the Robinson Connors. Special. That's kind of a sick move.
Remember Joseph Connors?
Joseph Connors.
All about
Joe Hendry's music. Play Joe Hendry's music. Play Joe Hendry's music.
There was like nothing. There's nothing to that guy, Joseph Connors. He's just like a guy. He was signed to WWE.
Yeah, he like wrestled in WWE. Like,
yeah,
for real.
He's just. There's just nothing to him.
Do you remember Candy Floss?
Of course, I remember Candy Floss. All right, well now I'm going back to NXT UK. All right, you got us back. Remember Jack Stars?
Have we lost any viewership? If we haven't lost any viewership, just keep going.
No, dude, people like this.
This is what the people want. We established this.
Honestly, like when we ramble like this, it reminds me of the old dumb guy chats. Like that's honestly what this is right here.
Yeah. No, all right, folks. I've gotten back on NXT UK. The most
we're gonna. I'm just gonna say it. We're gonna have Zubaz on one day. It's just like it's.
We're not. But that's okay.
What episode are we on?
It doesn't say anymore. He stopped counting.
If we ever do, we get to 100 yet?
No, are you stupid?
If we get to 100, we have to have Zubaz on.
I'm good on that. We had Roy Johnson. Who the fuck's Roy Johnson? Roy Johnson was on NXT UK. He's still. All these people still wrestle.
Is that Drilla Maloney was in the first NXT UK tournament?
A-Kid versus Cassius Ohno?
Yo,
and it
Yeah,
went
Ono
6
went
minutes
over there
and
for a
50
minute.
seconds. And A-Kid won by count out.
That was like when Chris Hero got like really fat, like super
The
fat.
Joseph Connors Experience featuring Liggs was a tag team of Joseph Connors and El Ligero.
Damn. Legs.
Oh, remember TK Cooper?
Travis. Yeah, it was Travis Banks and TK Cooper.
Yeah, they're like from down under, and then
The
TK
South
Cooper.
Pacific something.
Yeah, Walter. What the fuck? Yeah, Dan Maloney, Ethan
Drilla.
Page. They got lots of people here. The best. Remember the besties in the world?
Who were they?
Davey Vega and Matt Fitchett. They call themselves Grindhouse now.
Yeah, aren't they like Chicago guys?
Yeah, do they still wrestle?
They're like the AAW guys.
Yeah, according to Cage Match, Matt Fitchett has wrestled one match in the last year and a half.
I think Matt Fitchett trained Sky Blue.
Well, let's just find out. Sky Blue. Trainer. Apparently, Randy Ricci, otherwise known as Rockin' Randy. Let's find out everything there is to know about this guy.
My favorite fun fact is that Elias, Britt Baker, I think Lee Moriarty were all trained by a fellow named Super Hentai.
Yeah, you love saying that shit.
In Pittsburgh, the main wrestling trainer in Pittsburgh is Super Hentai.
Don't worry, guys. Rockin' Randy, the guy who trained Sky Blue, was on an episode of WWF Friday Night's Main Event under the name Jerry Fox. He teamed with Sonny Rogers, but lost to the Interrogator in a 2-on-1 handicap match. Who the fuck was the Oh yeah, Kurgan, the Interrogator. What a stupid name for a guy who's 6'10". The Interrogator. He asks questions. Cool. I want to find. Oh, he also wrestled Edge on a dark match in Shotgun Saturday in Rockford, Illinois.
His name's Adam Copeland.
Well, he was Edge on this show, folks. He wrestled Disco.
Sorry to hear
Disco
that.
Inferno. And Tracy Smothers. Wow, this guy. And Awesome Kong in 1991? That's a different Awesome Kong. This Awesome Kong was 466 pounds and died in 2012.
Oh,
That's not the Awesome Kong I know.
Who the fuck is this Awesome Kong? Why are there two Awesome? Can't be right. That guy still wrestles.
Action Jackson?
No, Action Jackson.
The motherfucker that goes to the GLEAT?
Who's Crusher Kong?
Is that the same dude that goes to GLEAT, dude?
Action Jack. Mark Von Erich. Naming people. He here. Except no, Warrior 2000. What the fuck? All right, I've completely lost the plot here, folks. I don't know what I'm talking about.
This
anymore.
is awesome.
Are people tuned in?
Somebody
in the chat, name a wrestler whose cage match you want me to go to.
Yeah, let's do this.
Murphy will be happy about this. The man who beat Chris Pratt twice strikes back. Said Super Hentai mentioned.
Yeah, it's Pittsburgh. That's IWC, the International Wrestling Cartel in Pittsburgh. Did you know actually Milano Collection AT wrestled in Pittsburgh once in a Pittsburgh?
It
was Milano Collection AT versus Kudo.
Kudo, everyone's favorite.
He was just not. Kudo was just
Amazing Red.
Hiroshima.
Was he? When was Amazing Red under a purple mask in TNA? Was he Suicide? Or
I don't know. TNA did some like funky stuff when Russo was there.
Amazing
Generation Me.
Not to be confused.
Oh my God, Overlord.
El Rojo.
That's a hell of a shout.
Spriggan? Was he Spriggan?
Dude, Dan Matha.
Dan Math?
No, Dan Matha. He
No, I'm
he played football at Pitt and then became a wrestler and came out on like that weird Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia, and then no one ever saw him ever again.
Amazing Red did a tour of All Japan where he wrestled under the name Spriggan and wrestled Jimmy Wang Yang a lot.
Oh, nice.
That's a good one. What the fuck? He did a lot of All Japan. Fuego. Super Dragon.
What years were this?
Super Dragon was there, like 2003.
Oh shit! That's
Extreme
like
Blade. Oh, what the fuck? Elix Skipper was in All Japan under the name Extreme Blade. Was that when the Blade movie came out?
Maybe.
Oh,
yeah. So Dan, there was a fake Yokozuna, Hiroki Sumi.
Yeah, Hiroki Sumi in the Greatest Royal Rumble.
Yeah, Dan Matha was in the Greatest Royal Rumble, and Roderick Strong. For some
Oh,
reason.
Dan Matha. I remember he was, the guy who had all those that was like so sick that they did that. They gave him all those promo packages, and then he debuts and then immediately gets the shit beaten out of him and like buried by Samoa Joe. It was like awesome. Yeah, I don't know. I like this message. Jamie Ross chills.
Yeah. Many people are saying this.
Yeah. Sangriento. All right, I gotta find this guy. Sangriento. Amazing Red. I can't even like see it. It doesn't even. There's like nothing. Oh, I see. Oh, cool. He looks like a shitty like idiot super dragon. Nice. I like it. Sangriento. All right, that's enough of that. Let's do the show. We are a Puro podcast, the only Puro podcast, in fact. Oh my god, look at this fucking four-way, sorry. In Delaware in 2003 for ECWA, East Coast Wrestling Association. The main event was a five-way match for the title. It was Christopher Daniels versus Amazing Red versus Low Key versus the American Dragon versus somebody named Mike Cruel. In a five-way match that went over 30 minutes.
Jesus.
Sick. I bet that was fucking sick, bro. All right. I really just want to keep scrolling Cage.
Tino Sabatelli.
Bro, I saw Tino Sabatelli in a house show and I was like, this guy's the future.
Dude, Tino Sabatelli was he was the spy. He was the NXT spy.
Yeah, he was the NXT spy. He was a fucking he was a good heel. Who did I see him against? Rich Swann. I think I saw him against Rich Swann.
Richie Steamboat.
Yeah, who the fuck else was like NXT like shitter? I don't know. Kona Reeves.
Brian Cage.
I like the 2021 names, like Russ Taylor. And
Russ. Hachi Man.
Yeah. No, now all right. Well, now I gotta go 2021 NXT. Rust Taylor.
What was Blake Christian's name? Trey something.
Trey
Baxter.
I was thinking Trey Parker, which is stupid.
Sorry, Wesley is still the most ridiculous name of all time.
Wesley.
Oh, Dante Rios. Yeah, Tyler Rust defeats Dante Rios, otherwise known as Daniel Garcia.
Dante Rios? Did someone say Dante Rios?
Leon Ruff. Former NXT North American champion Leon Ruff. What does Drake Maverick do? Is he still signed?
Is he still
there?
Is.
According to
he may be in like some sort of producer role or something like that.
Yeah, he must be.
Jason Jordan, known as Boozer.
No. What? I don't believe it. I don't.
That news got out, so I wasn't leaking anything, so I'm allowed to say it.
Now I'm just looking at people. See, Desmond Troy, Denzel Dejanette.
That kid was a dog. He was a fucking dog.
Arya Daivari.
Dude, Denzel DeJournette, Desmond Troy, that dude was a fucking machine. I don't know what happened to him. He should have went to AEW. That dude was a fucking monster.
It's pretty funny that like Ashante Adonis is like an active competitor on the main roster of WWE. Like out of all the people, Ashante Adonis is. Well,
Ashante the Adonis.
You can call him whatever you want. Yeah. All right.
B-Fab's just like the pride now, right, Jamie?
I think that's probably enough of that.
Yeah.
Now, let's do the show. Let's do the freaking show. We are a pro podcast, and folks, this week.
Wait. What last thing? What was Alex Zane's name?
Ari Sterling.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
What was Anthony Henry's name? It was like fruity. Oh my god! Now I gotta.
Wait, what do you ask?
Anthony Henry.
Oh, it was
Asher Hale.
Asher Hale, dude.
Yeah, Asher kind of is a fruity. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Asher Hale. What the fuck? Why did they sign like 4 just like indie mid carders? They were like, "This is the future." What were they thinking? Did they think Anthony Henry had a future on this roster? Asher Hale. God.
Honestly, the fact that Joe Gacy is the one that's left, like, shocks me. Like, Joe Gacy's made it.
Joe Gacy's good, bro.
He
had a tag team with Eddie Kingston.
Unwanted.
Eddie Kingston was the Jannetty of that tag team.
The Unwanted.
Yeah, the Unwanted and Evolve.
Oh, yeah. For anybody that knows, P is a huge Evolve guy.
I've watched every Evolve match in history that made tape.
I've never seen a single Evolve match.
It was a good promotion. You should watch it. Jaka.
I just hate Gabe. Like, I kind of just stay away from Gabe.
And who's the
Dickinson?
Well, of course I remember Chris Dickinson. Who the fuck was the guy who's like he had a feud with like Austin Theory, and it sucked.
Thatcher?
No, he's like super indie, like just like a no name. Just nobody.
Well, looks like we're gonna have to look it up.
Yeah, I guess so. Austin Theory.
In Evolve?
Yeah, it was in Evolve.
Evolve Wrestling.
I'll figure it out. Don't you
Josh
worry.
Briggs?
No, not Josh Briggs.
Because he's in WWE now.
Yeah. This would have been in like 2018, I want to say.
Jason Kincaid?
Oh,
Fred Yehi.
Yes, dude. Jason Kincaid is who I was thinking of. He was like a hobo. It was.
Do you remember Jason Cade?
Yeah, Jason Cade was part of one of the best tag matches I've ever seen live. He won against
with Rich Swann
and somebody. What's that?
And the Rich Swann one.
Well, what?
I thought the best match you ever saw was
Anyway.
Rich Swann.
That's what I like. Rich Swann was.
You cut out. I'm sorry. You cut out.
Yeah, Jason Cade was teaming with Rich Swann in that one. Yeah, Jason then the best wrestler in Evolve history. By the way, did you know King and Darby Allin had like a feud and like a pretty notable match on Dynamite last year?
Who and Darby?
Sorry, and I don't know why. Brody King and Darby Allin.
Yeah, that match was great.
So, fun fact: Darby Allin, he really started to evolve, and I knew he was great from the start. I was like, this guy's awesome. And he had like his story was that he was fucking homeless, and like all he cared about was wrestling, and that he cared about it so much that when he challenged Junior for the title, he was like, if I lose, I'm going back to the bottom of the card, kind of like a Dragon Gate thing, and lose to Zack Sabre Jr. He went back to the bottom of the card and he wrestled a match. And pre-show matches in Evolve are always, and one of those matches was a match against Brody King, of all people, which I think is very interesting.
It's funny.
that.
What's it called? Susumu was the last person to do that. He's challenging for the belt, so that's great. Enough
Well,
Dragon
there
Gate.
you go. I love that for him. Yeah, Austin Theory versus Jason Kincaid. It was so heated that it went to a no contest. Brody King versus Darby Allin went to a 10-minute time limit draw at the St. Finbar Catholic Church gym in New York.
No, the shitty venue they always ran was La Boom.
No, dude, LeBloom was not shitty. LeBloom was awesome.
Dude,
you get the
there's
skulk
no
in there.
AC.
It's like you don't know who's a wrestler and who's like a fan. It
No,
was awesome.
WrestleMania weekend in 2019, I went to a show at La Boom. That place fucking sucked. There
No,
was
it's
no
great.
AC. There's no like heat or AC. It's just like
Was that
either.
the venue that that Bix allegedly parody shat himself in?
Yeah,
Because I think it is.
I think Bix shot himself in La Boom, and it sucks because that place has no AC.
Allegedly.
So the poop,
According
just,
to
like,
reports,
the
sources
poop just stayed
unconfirmed.
in there.
All right, let's do the show.
I'm
Sorry,
blocked
we've
by
been.
Bix, so I don't give a shit.
Murph, do you have to leave yet?
I was leaving in like 10 minutes.
Okay, cool. Let's do the show. This weekend, well, actually, very soon, not even this weekend, it is and Pro Wrestling New Beginning in Sapporo, starting this Friday from Hokkaido. It's always their big yearly show in Hokkaido. Kind of an interesting scheduling thing this year, where they did Osaka first, which is usually the culmination. Then they come back, do FantaticaMania, then they do New Beginning in Sapporo. So I think the pacing is a little weird for this because we haven't seen a lot of these guys wrestle in a couple weeks. But I don't know about you guys. I think these cards are really interesting, and I think this could set up a lot of the big story beats for New Japan for the rest of this year. So, as always, we start with the main event in our previews on Friday. The main event is David Finlay with his first defense of the brand new IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship, and he is defending against the former Dolph Ziggler, Nick Nemeth.
Wanted. He's a wanted man.
Nice. So, I don't know about you guys. I'm really excited about the potential of Nick Nemeth in New Japan Pro Wrestling. But Jamie, what do you think we're going to see here?
Yeah, I am also very, very excited to see Nick Nemeth, formerly Dolph Ziggler, in a New Japan ring. Not my ideal first opponent for him, to be perfectly honest. Kind of a bit sick of David Finlay. I'm hoping Nemeth wins. I don't really see it happening. I would love him to, though. But I think he's absolutely going to thrive in a New Japan ring. I think he's got, he's kind of got everything to. Well, he's been kind of in the WWE system for so long, clearly with kind of no real sort of direction. Obviously, they used him a little bit in NXT, and I think he just wants to kind of show the world again how kind of talented he is, because obviously we've seen inside the WWE system the kind of levels he can get to, and one of the most consistent wrestlers on the roster for a number of years there. And I think with the freedom, to kind of wrestle a bit more freely, wrestle a New Japan style, I think you could get something really special out of Nick Nemeth here. So, like I said, not an ideal opponent for him, but I still think the match will be really great, and I think it'll be very exciting to see what he can do in there. But I see Finlay winning this one.
First off, Jamie, that was an incredible pun where you said Ziggler's going to show the world. I don't know if that pun was intended, but that was very, very great. And number two, Nick Nemeth will win this match and become the new IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion because the War Dogs are going to turn on him. It's finally going to happen. I what's the Drew McIntyre thing? I prayed for it, and it's going to happen. They are going to win this match. Wait, Nick is going to win this match, and then the War Dogs are going to get in there and beat the fucking shit out of them and send them to the Performance Center, inshallah. But I mean, I hate David Finlay. I think he might be the worst wrestler in the world. He looks like he's trying to dress like Jay White for Halloween. And I just want it to be over because this reign of terror is him. I mean, fuck. We started off with Prince Devitt, great wrestler. And then went to Carl Anderson, great wrestler. You could say AJ Styles. I don't consider him a leader. Amazing wrestler. Kenny Omega, the greatest of all time. Jay White. Some people disagree with me. I think he's a great fucking wrestler. And then we have this schmuck walking around with the fucking Bullet Club. It makes me sick. It makes me really sick. And you know who can continue that? Like a young guy who's a dog who can become a main event star? Gabe Kidd, just like Jay White did. And we just need to get this fucking asshole idiot out of here. So I think Nick Nemeth will win this match, and the War Dogs are going to bite.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, I'm super excited about. I really want Nemeth to win the title. I think his limited time, whether at Wrestle Kingdom proper or in the press conferences previewing stuff, he's shown a lot of really good aggression. Doesn't feel like a manicure WWE superstar. Feels like somebody who fits right in the New Japan presentation. I think if he just committed to New Japan, he could be great for this company. So I'm definitely excited about this prospect here of him winning. I'm also excited about the prospect of Finlay losing for the reasons that you've stated. That the War Dogs might take over, and you could go a couple ways with this. You could have Gabe Kidd be the leader. You could have if Nemeth is going to stick around, you could have him as the new leader. Like they do, Nemeth as the Bullet Club leader, I think would be pretty interesting. But regardless of what they do, like I think the choice is so clear. Nemeth wins, beat the shit out of Finlay, new War Dogs leader, right? New Bullet Club leader. So anyway, that'd be great. I think it's so hard though because they're obviously committing to Finlay. I'm gonna predict that Finlay retains.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I just don't know that Ziggler's committed to New Japan for the long haul, I guess is the concern. Maybe he'll come back and do a G1 or something like that. But unless he wins this, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Do you know if he's under a TNA deal?
It doesn't appear to be. I feel like it would have been reported by now. So
yeah. I don't know what his plans are because in my head canon, he's just working around and he's probably going to join like AEW in like June or some shit. But you never really know what his time frame is because he has time to he could work New Japan the rest of the year for all we know. So I have no clue. I really want Nick Nemeth to be the IWGP Global Champion going into Forbidden Door because I think that'd be an awesome thing. Do Nick Nemeth versus anybody. Nick Nemeth versus Darby Allin. That'd be fucking sick. Nick Nemeth versus any AEW upper mid card guy would just be fucking sick. So, I want him to be with New Japan for the rest of the year if that's possible.
We have another fresh face in the semi-main event here for the New Japan World Television Championship. Hiroshi Tanahashi will defend the title against Matt Riddle, another former WWE wrestler who wrestles a similar style to Nemeth. At least you would think so in a New Japan ring. Riddle comes with some baggage, but we're gonna talk about the in-ring stuff and the booking stuff here. Riddle is somebody. Well, it should be great. There's questions. Riddle has been very open about the fact that he was not on his game in his final WWE run. Tanahashi is obviously getting older by the day. But when he's at his best, I think Riddle is an absolutely fantastic.
If we can get the Riddle from the tag team with Randy, that was some of the best WWE matches in the last I don't know how long is when Riddle was teaming with Randy. So just purely in ring. If Riddle can be that good, then I don't think the matches will be that bad. I think it'll be pretty good, honestly.
So this is another one where a lot is up in the air based on what Riddle's future is, right? I could absolutely see him beating Tanahashi here if his plan is to stick around with New Japan for an extended period of time, but that doesn't really seem to be the case right here. The only weird thing about these two, both this and the main event, is that they're in Japan. Like New Japan doesn't really, outside of Wrestle Kingdom, bring wrestlers in for just one match in Japan. So Jamie, I'm curious what you think about that, and of course about Tanahashi versus Riddle in general.
Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting. It could, I mean, maybe that's an indication that they are going to stick around long term. Would New Japan give them that spot if they're not going to be around? As far as this match goes, you mentioned before about Riddle not being on his game in a late stage of his WWE run. I've liked the brief bits that I've seen of him so far. It's obviously been kind of early days, and I've only seen a couple of little matches here. But I think he's kind of getting back into the groove of things, and obviously it's a big spot for him. Tanahashi as well, obviously, has his limitations at this stage of the game, but he's still Hiroshi Tanahashi. He can still, produce magic on the big stages. So I think this one should be good. I think I'll predict the Riddle win, and I'm going to say that Riddle is probably going to stick around a little bit. Just as obviously Nemeth is kind of doing stuff with TNA, whereas Riddle's a bit more kind of freelancey a little bit at the moment. So I'm going to say Riddle's going to stick around more definitively, and I think he's going to get the win here.
Murph?
I think this is gonna be pretty gas. I think, where's Riddle gonna go? He's not going to AEW. I don't think he's going to Impact. So if Riddle's gonna stay long term, I don't think he's gonna win, but I think it's gonna be like close. A 15-minute draw will not surprise me. I think
I
I think
think that's in the cards. Yeah,
I think a 15-minute draw would be like really like something that could happen. I don't think Riddle's gonna win, but I think it's either a Tanahashi win at like 14 minutes and 5 seconds, or a Riddle win or a draw. Sorry, excuse me.
I'm gonna say Tanahashi retains, just because I don't know. I just feel like maybe the stability of the familiar face, the former ace being a champion in the promotion with all the turnover they've had over the last few months just seems to be the safe choice, I guess. Murph, I hear you have to take off.
I do have to take off. I'll see you guys soon. I sent my beast the weekend, so we'll have that. And enjoy the rest of the episode. Keep supporting Dumb Guy Live. I mean, you're not going to.
Everybody say bye to Murph.
Sign off.
Bye, Murph Burner.
Bye, Murph.
Right. Okay. Hate that guy. The third from the top, never open weight title. We have the new champion, Evil. And he is defending against Shota Umino. A lot of people think there's going to be a title change in this one. You can never be so sure when it comes to the Evil. But I tend to agree. I think this match is going to suck. I think it's going to be really bad. Shota's good, but he's not crazy, incredible babyface good quite yet. I just hope we get a new champion. Maybe they can be goofy with it, but I don't know. I'm hoping for a title change is all I'm going to say on this one. And I presume you feel the same way.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that we're going to get a title change. I think it's pretty evident that Evil, at least from where I see it, was kind of a transitional champion in the sense that he wasn't really meant to have the belt. Obviously, the Tama Tonga thing was kind of sprung upon New Japan by the sound of it. And I think getting kind of the aftermath of obviously Okada announcing that he's leaving, and then Shota Umino coming out and declaring himself the new ace of New Japan, I think it's pretty clear that Bushiroad have kind of singled him out as the guy they want to really hone in on moving forward. And I think the best way to start that is to give him a title. So I think, I probably agree that the match won't be anything too amazing. I mean, it's an Evil title match, so you know what you're getting really. But I think Shota Umino's winning this one, and I think it's the start of him building his case to be the guy that leads New Japan into the next era post Okada.
I agree that Shota's winning this one. That seems to be the right call for me. Couple super chats, $1.99 from 6 Arena Mexipoi.
Yes.
Yep, you know how it is. Thank you, 6. The custodian Lexus, who's been cleaning up on NXT recently. My 3 favorite dumb. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I will support you in whatever you end up on NXT V. So yeah, thank you. Let's continue. 2 more title matches. First, we have a championship title match. Again, there's just like all of these matches, like except for I guess Tanahashi versus Riddle, but even then is like both of them have question marks. Like have somebody in the match that just like fucking sucks right now. You know what I mean? Desperado is defending the junior title against Sho. Second defense of that title. He's the House of Torture stablemate Yoshinobu. beforehand. Again, Show is just like evil. His match bit in interference. And I don't know. I don't see a title change here either. It just feels like a defense for Desperado.
Yeah, Show's the most annoying of all the House of Torture guys, because I know that out of all of them, I know that guy can be really good. You know, he was so promising before. Obviously, he joined the group, but yeah, I'm hopefully, you know, you can only hope with these things that we get something resembling a match. But you know, it's House of Torture, so like I said before, you know what you kind of get yourself in for. But yeah, I can't see a new champion in this one, but hopefully we get something semi decent.
Monty just tweeted that Lexus King just had his best match in NXT thus far.
Oh.
So I don't know. Maybe things are happening in NXT. All right. We have a match which should be much better than the two above it, and that is Mayu Iwatani defending the IWGP Women's Championship match against Mina Shirakawa. Now, of course, there's a lot of stuff going on in Stardom with the firing of Rossi and a likely talent exodus coming. And with Mina Shirakawa being one of the names associated with staying with Bushiroad, seemingly, and being part of a new stable as well, a stable, I would not rule out a title. I think it's the favorite to happen, just because it's hard to beat Mayu, right? And it would be weird to have your two of your top, like your two world champions, I guess, in your promotion be both from the same stable. I think this match should be really, really good. I hope it just gets plenty of time like it deserves.
Yeah, I agree. I think you know, looking at it from the kind of who's staying and who's going thing, I think the big factor is obviously Mayu. We assume is kind of locked down a little bit longer than most others. So whether they're going to take the title off her right away, I'm not so sure. But even with that being said, obviously Mina is seemingly definitely someone who's going to be sticking around. So whether they want to kind of strap the rocket to her straight away, that could be something they go for. But regardless of the kind of backstage politics of it all and who's leaving and who's going, I think this match should be really great. Like you said, if it gets the time that it deserves. So obviously, that's often the worry with these Stardom matches on the New Japan show, especially a little lower down the card. But if they do get the time, I mean, it's you know, Mayu Iwatani, in my opinion, is the best women's wrestler of all time. Mina Shirakawa has come on leaps and bounds in the past 2 years or so, to the point where she's now a legitimate, like, main event level Stardom talent, which is kind of unthinkable when you look at where she was about 2 or so years ago. So I think this one should be excellent. I imagine it'll be a lot of limb work, a lot of work in the leg from Mina, and then I imagine it'll ramp up right towards the end, and we should have ourselves a really good match here.
I'm looking forward to it. I do think we get a Mayu retain here. This is only her 4th defense of this title, which is pretty crazy. It's been like 8 months since she won it. So they should do this. They should do this more often. Aside from that, it's just tags. We got the LIJ versus Just 5 Guys tag. All those matches get resolved the following night. We have one of Okada's last matches. He's in a 10-man tag. Just nothing happening on that one. And then, yeah, small stuff. We do have a fun opener, however, which kind of comes out of, you know, it's just kind of a cool match to have. But it is Zack Sabre Jr., who's coming off unbelievable, you know, out of this world good match against Bryan Danielson. He's taken on Yuji Nagata in the opener, who is still great, even at however old he is, 54 or something like that. So I'm really looking forward to this one.
That feels to me, I don't know why, that feels to me like a New Japan Strong pay-per-view match. I get the
Oh, yeah.
throw that singles match on there. 2 recognizable names, put someone Zach can beat. Yeah, that should be really good stuff. Zach's on a tremendous run of form. He's going to be up there in the rest of the year contention, I think, by the time this year's done. If he keeps his form up, he's been stellar.
All right, let's move on to night 2, shall we?
Yes.
This night looks very interesting to me, especially those top 3 matches. Obviously, the main event of the whole tour, the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match. Tetsuya Naito, his first defense against Sonata, who, of course, he won it from at Wrestle Kingdom. Practically no chance of a title change here. This has been about as unexcited as I've been for a world title match in New Japan for a long time. I haven't quite identified with this Naito story as much as I have, and we literally obviously just saw this match at Wrestle Kingdom, and there's like no shot that as good as the main event of unless they just go crazy. So I don't know. It should be a good match, but Naito to move on to somebody more interesting as we move into New Japan Cup season.
Yeah, the first time round heading into the obviously the Wrestle Kingdom main event, a lot of people were pretty low going into it. Obviously, us three on the pod are pretty higher than most on Sonada. So I think we all kind of expect it to be good, but it definitely was a match that kind of over delivered on the expectations heading in. This one obviously way less predictable of a result. No Tokyo Dome crowd, you know what I mean? So it's not. I struggle to see it kind of getting too close to their first outing. But I mean, I like both, so hopefully it should still be a good first defense for Naito. But yeah, definitely not the most exciting of IWGP title matches.
We'll see. We'll see what happens in this one. Again, just not that much interesting. What I think is a lot more compelling matches that will precede it. The semi-main event is the young guy matchup. The two wrestlers who feel like eternal rivals at this point. Yota Tsuji of LIJ, Yuya Uemura of Just Five Guys. They are having a hair versus hair match, which is a really unique stipulation for New Japan to do. They don't go to this stipulation very often. I'm really interested in how this is going to go. I feel reasonably confident that Tsuji's winning this one. Uemura got the win at Wrestle Kingdom, obviously. They do the rematch. Tsuji gets the win back and the hair. This one where Uemura, I think a lot of the comments about Uemura coming back from excursion have been like memeing. Like, I haven't really seen it. I think he's been just fine. Like, he's not a fully developed wrestler yet, which is like nobody is when they come back from excursion. Like, Tsuji isn't even yet. I think he's great. I hope this match gets the drama and intensity and length that it deserves. I hope it's violent. I hope they lean into the stipulation. I hope they don't start out with like just some sort of like wrestling, unless they're like leaning into the Young Lion thing where they do like the perfect chain wrestling that's like crisp to a T and all that. But yeah, I feel like Tsuji's winning this one, and this is the match. This is the match out of both the two nights that I'm probably most intrigued by, I should say.
Yeah, out of the Wrestle Kingdom rematches we got here, this is the one definitely with a lot more intrigue than the first one had. The first one I really enjoyed for what it was. I think it was a little bit of a surprising result on the night, but obviously playing into where we're going with this, I think it's kind of understandable now. I think Tsuji's probably taken this. I can't picture Tsuji without the hair, whereas Yuya, I think I can kind of see,
Tsuji, like even when Tsuji debuted, he had long hair, like as a young lion. Yeah, like he had long hair.
Yeah, and he has such a cool look with the long hair and the really menacing grin. I can't picture him bald. I don't know, but yeah, I think this one should be again, like I said, the first one was really nice, and you saw straight away the chemistry between the two of them. Hopefully, with the kind of the increased stakes in this one, we get a little bit more intensity out of the two of them. Obviously, as I say, with Shota. These are two of the guys again that New Japan are going to be, you'd imagine, or you at least hope so, really focusing on in the next couple of years. So I think a big showing for both of them could go a long way. And I think obviously whoever wins or whoever loses coming out of this, I think is going to be going to kind of set up some big stories moving down. How will the loser bounce back? What will the winner kind of set the sights on next? I think this is, like you said, this is a very, very intriguing one. And I just hope they both have a good outing on the night.
Yeah, same. I'm such a big fan of both of these two, and they're clearly such an essential part of New Japan's future that you can't help but hope that they kill it, because it's kind of rare to put the young guys against each other in such a featured way in New Japan. So yeah, I hope they get that shot. The match on this tour that I think you can mark down as most guaranteed to be a great match out of all of them is Shingo Takagi versus Taichi. These two have fantastic chemistry. They wrestle a similar style. Shingo, I thought he could carry just about everybody to a great match. Apparently, he didn't do so with Trent Seven, but Taichi's a much better wrestler than Trent Seven is in 2024, and should just be fucking great. Like they should go like 16 minutes, and Shingo's probably going to win, and it's just going to be awesome. So yeah, really not a whole lot to say other than I'm stoked about this match, and I think it's going to be great.
Oh yeah, what a match to bounce back from after the Trent Seven match. It's that one was not ideal, but this one I'm very, very excited for. Like you said, tremendous chemistry between both of them. They're just gonna whack each other really hard, beat the shit out of each other. I'm a big fan of Taichi. I really hope Taichi has some fun stuff lined up for this year, and if we can kind of get the ball rolling against Shingo Takagi, who obviously outside the Trent Seven, kind of always delivers, then I think that could go a long way. But yeah, this is, I think, as you said, circling. If you was to circle one match out of this weekend, this is a guaranteed match that you got to see. So yeah, I think Shingo win is probably the safe bet. But you never know. You never know. Maybe they got something planned for Taichi this year.
Got a couple junior round out the LIJ versus Just Five Guys feud. We have Hiromu Takahashi versus Doki. We have, which I can't believe is a singles match in 2024, Bushi versus Goku. What they did is, I think it was Hiromu and Bushi were feuding with Desperado and Kanemaru. And what they did is they did like the two singles matches, and they had one like lead into it was like a DQ or like a post-match attack that immediately went into the other match. Something interesting. Like I can't imagine than running Taka Michinoku in front of a crowd of like 5,000. Like what's going on? So anyway, I have really nothing to say about this other than Hiromu should probably win, and I don't care who wins Bushi versus Taka Michinoku.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, not much else on this show aside from some interesting wrestlers. Obviously, we've got teaming with Taguchi, who's one of my favorites, against Finley and Geto, who are not my favorites. Tamatonga's farewell match, GOD versus GOD. Tonga Loa against Hikuleo and El Phantasmo. Should be a good little send-off for Tamatonga. Another send-off that is very unceremonious, Kazuchika Okada in a 10-man tag, teaming with Tanahashi, Ishii, Goto, and Yoshihashi against the United Empire, Matt Riddle, which is an interesting team. Then the opener is just New Japan Army against House of Torture, which could you imagine? So yeah. Not like you could definitely have condensed this card into one, like these two cards, I should say, into one really great. There's definitely some filler on both, but I think the top matches should deliver at the very least. It feels like every match is going to deliver on either booking or just the quality of the match itself. It might not deliver on both, but as long as it sets up new the year, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I think we should get a pretty decent glimpse into kind of what the next few months should hold after these two shows, and you'll get some great matches to boot as well, as you said.
Yeah, Icon pointed this out. I think they usually do announce New Japan Cup participants on one of these nights. I could be mistaken, but that would be nice. Also, just to know like is the New Japan Cup and what it's for and all that. So yeah, should be good. Okay, let's stick with New Japan. Let's sprinkle in a little bit of lucha.
Oh yeah.
We had the FantaticaMania tour over the last week. So we can kind of, I don't know exactly how you want to do this, because they were kind of like sprinkled throughout the tour, but I guess the really important ones were the last two nights at Cork and Hall, right? So we had, as I pull up the cards, I just want to make sure I have everything accurate here. Yes. No, hang on. I'm on the wrong one. Right. So on the 18th, on Sunday, this was the second to last night of the tour, right? Am I not losing my mind?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. The big matches on this show, 2 singles matches at the top. Soberano defeated Templario in what I thought was the match of the night, and then we got a Arena Mexico rematch. Volador Jr. beating Rocky Romero in the main event. Two very quality matches, like hot crowds, everything you would want, pretty much. Didn't goodness gracious, I'm sorry, I've got something in my throat. Didn't quite reach the heights of Arena Mexico matches, but those types of matches rarely do. But I thought Soberano was just so fucking awesome. Like, he's so great, and he's just so intense. Just like goes balls to the wall every match. Like a cooler gimmick, right? Like something that made him stand out. And I think that's literally the only reason people aren't like salivating over this guy, right? If he just had like a more interesting gimmick to him, people would be like go crazy.
Yeah, for sure. This was definitely my match of the night from this show. I think Templario as well. Obviously, you just spoke about Soberano Jr. You know, I kind of called a couple of Templarios matches throughout this tour, and he's been a real standout. He brings the intensity. A lot of these matches on this tour, and it's not a knock, because it's one of the things I like about FantaticaMania. You just kind of get like a kind of, you know, if you're not familiar with CMLL, it's a really good introduction to a lot of the main players, and some of the matches feel a little bit kind of exhibition-y. Like it's kind of it's just a bit of a tour of a couple of the main guys. Templario has been bringing the intensity, and this was kind of the peak of that here. This felt you know, it was really physical. You know, you really you know, both guys were going out there to try and kill each other, which hadn't been the case for, like, you know, a couple of the rest of the big matches. But so this one really stepped it up. And yeah, Soberano, we talked about him a ton. I believe he was the Dumb Guy Live Luchador of the Year last year. So, you know, he's continuing that hot run of form. And you know, a real standout match from the tour. The main event, Rocky and Volador, obviously, like I said, didn't live up to their previous outings in Arena Mexico, but it was still very solid wrestling. Obviously, they have that chemistry. You're never going to get a bad match out of these two. They're so consistent. But yeah, just a notch below their previous stuff. But definitely still one I'd recommend you go and check out.
Then the culmination of the tour had 3 big they had an Okamura singles match, as always, where he you know, he did Okamura things. But then Atlantis Jr. beat Hechicero. Hechicero is somebody who has gotten a lot of attention over the last month or so with his appearances in AEW, which is really interesting because he's just been like, I'm trying to think of who to compare him to if you don't watch Lucha Libre. Like, he was just kind of a solid upper mid card heavyweight guy who did a lot of like holds, who was good at like submission. It'd be like it's kind of reminiscent of when Dave Finlay, like Fit Finlay, in like when in his mid 40s got like a big push in WWE. It's like it's reminiscent of that to me. Like a really good solid wrestler with a cool look and everything, who gets a ton of exposure kind of out of nowhere and lives up to it. So it's been really cool to see that rise. Obviously dropped it to Atlantis Jr., who's one of the wrestlers that CMLL is going to, without a doubt, push as much as they can going forward. But I enjoyed this one here. We had a cool 8-man tag. It's going to be a good trivia question that Musashi was on a FantaticaMania tour at one point. Mystico beat Ultimo Guerrero. This match was kind of nothing, to be honest. It was just kind of Mystico playing the hits, and Ultimo Guerrero also playing the hits. And then in the main event, I thought this match was great. Mascara Dorada beat Stuka Jr. It was a surprise to see Stuka Jr. In the match that culminated the entire tour, but it makes sense putting him against Mascara Dorada, who is clearly CMLL's #1 pushed focus guy going forward. And I thought they lived up to the hype. Like, Stuka Jr. is great. He lost the mask at CMLL Anniversario a couple of years ago. and he's just as great of a worker as he's always been. And Mascara Dorada, there's the reason. I mean, he continues to show why he's the guy in CMLL right now. So yeah, overall thoughts on those 3 matches, Jamie?
Yeah, I love the main event. Obviously, I think the main takeaway from FantaticaMania, if you just kind of watch kind of the highlights from each show, is Mascara Dorada is the guy who's going to lead this company into the future. Rocky Romero talked about it when he was here on the Recipes podcast. He singled him out as a guy that's going to be one of the best wrestlers in the world. He already is getting up there. Every time he's out there, he's kind of a standout. And Stuka Jr. as well. He was positioned quite nicely on this tour. Him and Ultimo Guerrero had a lot of big spots on this tour. So it was nice to see him. Nice to see him get the big main event. And yeah, they both delivered in there. And again, Mascara Dorada kind of capping off a really nice tour for him there in Japan. The Atlantis and Hechicero match was tremendous as well. I love that one. Big fan of both guys. I remember singling out Hechicero this time last year for FantaticaMania. And again, I remember you pointing that out. When I said that last time, that again, he's not one of the the top tier guys over there. But every time I've seen him in Japan, and now obviously he's over there in AEW, he's been kind of showing out when he's given the spot. So it's nice to see him get more eyes on him. Atlantis Jr. as well as another guy who, like you said, who's going to be a big player. And there's just two beefy guys just whacking each other, doing some nice technical wrestling. It's nothing too flashy, but it's it's nice wrestling. And they had a good show in there. And like you said, the Mystico Guerrero match wasn't anything too much to write home about, but I always pop to see Mystico. I'm a big Guerrero fan as well, so it was a nice little singles match, but nothing too spectacular. But overall, I think it was a nice little FantaticaMania tour this year. I don't think there were as many. Trying to think back to how the matches was spread out last year. I don't think the matches were spread out in terms of the big singles matches as well as they were last year. I think they kind of peaked towards the end, which I guess that also works too. But I think by the last 2 shows, you definitely got some of the best, the best stuff there. So I would say going out your way to check out those last 2 shows is probably the best way to do it. But if you want to just walk through, if you want to kind of take your time and go through all the shows, there's good stuff on all of them because they're a very exciting roster, and it's just nice. We say it a lot about CMLL. They're not always outstanding. These incredible 5-star matches, but they're just pretty consistent, solid wrestling. And then when you do get the big time matchups, they usually always deliver.
I briefly want to talk about, sort of keeping in the world of New Japan, a match that has gotten a preposterous amount of buzz over the weekend, and that was Michael Oku versus Will Ospreay, which I think is which I think is relevant and tangential because, for reasons, obviously Ospreay, hugely important in New Japan history. Also, Sabre and Shingo and Oiba and Nakashima were on this show, so obviously a lot going on here. But Jamie, I'm gonna refer to you first. What did you think of Ospreay? A crazy historical mask, Oku winning clean, 7 minutes to retain the title on Ospreay's Brit Rest send-off as he heads to full-time AEW. What'd you think?
Yeah, I liked it. I didn't like it quite to the extent that some people have liked it. I'm very interested to see what Dave Meltzer gives it. He's gonna go. He's gonna give it a crazy score by the sound of it. But it's been interesting to see the reactions to this match. We had a lot of pushback when we gave it 4.25 in the Recipes ratings, but I thought it was a tremendous match. Obviously, Ospreay, kind of gave his standard performance out there, and his standard performance is exceptional because he kind of never, regardless of the set and the opponent, wherever he is on the card, he always puts in the same amount of effort. And that was very evident here. I'm not the biggest Michael Oku guy, but I did think he gave a pretty good account of himself throughout this match. I have not seen a ton of him, so I'm not going to claim to have seen his full catalogue of work, but I've seen a few big highlights for him. It was very it was reminiscent to the most over the top kind of NXT Black and Gold main event. You know, it had all the you know, it is very, very work rate heavy, and then had all the drama. I forget the name of Michael Oku's girlfriend, wife. I don't know. She got involved in multiple stages throughout this one.
Amira, right? Yeah.
Yeah. At one point, Ospreay gives it quite a hard kick to the outside. I'm not sure whether she hit her head on the guardrail, but it looked pretty close. But she played a big part in this, and it was all very dramatic. She took a hidden blade at one point too. And yeah, eventually, obviously, Michael Oku gets the big win, and kind of, you know, crowns him as the guy that's gonna leave Rev Pro into a Will Ospreay-less era. Obviously, he's not been around for all the shows, so it's not, you know, it's not like a Kazuchika Okada level loss, but he's been there for a lot of the big ones, and it's, you know, it's very, very, very big loss for him that he's not going to be around, at least for the foreseeable future. Yeah, but a big win for Oku. Again, not a match that I would have on kind of the top end of my match of the year list, but definitely one I'd recommend checking out. And yeah, it's had a lot of mixed reviews, but I liked it.
See, I agree with the hype. I'm locked in on it. I thought this match was so incredible. I thought it was better than the first one, which I also thought was incredible. You mentioned NXT Black and Gold, which has got, you know, in parentheses behind it is pejorative, right? A lot of people sort of don't look fondly upon NXT Black and Gold. I loved NXT Black and Gold, and I loved the super epic, like, overbooked main events. I think back to, you know, obviously Gargano is like the poster child for it, with his Andrade match, and the of course the Adam Cole series and the Ciampa stuff and all that, right? And for the most part, I loved all that stuff. I thought it was great. And now you have to be great wrestlers, and you, more importantly, you have to have the environment to match it up.
Yeah.
You can't just go out in front of any crowd, any environment, and make that happen. But this Rev Pro environment was so out of this world. They were living and dying with everything Michael Oku did. They wanted Ospreay dead. Also, on one hand, saw him as inevitable Ospreay. I thought Amira was so good in this match. Like, I can't really tell, because I don't keep up super closely with Rev Pro, if she's like a trained performer, but if she is, even if she is great in this match, I thought she was remarkable. There's a lot, also just all the big time talent on this like a huge deal for Rev Pro. They had Orange Cassidy on the show. They had Shigehiro Irido, right? They had the Young Lion, Mustafa Ali. Anthony Ogogo was on, kind of bad, but he was on the show. Ricky Knight Jr., right? Saber in the semi-main, right? So all this big talent. It felt like the heyday of Brit Rest, you know, 5. I thought it was great. I thought the match was fantastic. It was epic, and it made me regret not following super closely with the Oku story. I do kind of chuckle a little bit at the people who are like, the storytelling was so good, because, like, are you like following Rev Pro? Like, you know what I mean? Like, because for me, I loved Gold, the takeovers. I never watched the TV. I never watched NXT TV or on I guess the network when it was on, right? I never watched that shit unless there was like a really important match. But people are like, the storytelling. I'm like, I don't know. Like, it's pretty simple. It's not like it makes sense. Ospreay's the unbeatable big guy looking to reclaim his title, and Oku's the hometown hero, you know, trying to, and it's the big send off for Ospreay. Like, I don't really buy the storytelling stuff. The intra match storytelling of just like, and the environment and everything made it great, and played off the previous matches, right? With Amira getting involved. So yeah, I thought this match was excellent, and one of the best matches I've seen all year. And I am an Oku good believer as well. Oku is good as far as I'm concerned. I did not watch the Luke Jacobs versus JJ Gale match, and apparently I need to, because that is getting a crazy good rating on Cage Match as well. So I need to check that out.
Yeah, the card had a couple of highlights. Obviously, that match you mentioned there was a really strong show, and particularly for Luke Jacobs, who kind of after the match declared that he's coming after the Rev Pro World title.
Nice.
So
and he really should be the next champion.
Yeah, right? I thought so as well. When he said that, I kind of got a little bit fired up because he's a guy I like a lot there. Also, the Youngblood tag match, the Yuto Nakashima and Oscar Lobe. I forget the names of the guys they were facing. Again,
Kieran Lacey and Mark True. Neither of them have Cage Match pages.
Yeah, but the Youngblood performance in this match, I got me very, very fired up. I mean, we talked about the New Japan tag division. I mean, obviously we all know who's currently got those IWGP tag titles, but I was watching this match like, fuck, bring them back now. They're ready. You know, they had some really nice tag team offense. You know, they were in sync. And that's against two guys who I know pretty little about, but I thought that, you know, they came together and had a really good match. So I'm looking forward to following Youngblood. It seems like they're going to be sticking as a tag team for the time being. I think that's a nice spot for both of them to develop. And yeah, I hope they probably get the tag belts in Rev Pro. I don't know who has the tag belts in Rev Pro. I'm sure they can. You know, we'll get there at some point. But yeah, I'm fired up, particularly about Yuto Nakashima. I think he's got a big future ahead of him.
Yeah, I need to check out the other stuff on this show because it clearly was really good. It's just interesting how Rev Pro every year for high stakes, it feels like they always just put out a great card and a great show. Clearly a bit of a TK relationship happening too. Like he was in person for this show. There was multiple AEW talent on this show, right? Like it was clearly intended to be a big deal and intentional there. So let's see. Should we talk about the Stardom Korakuen show, Jamie-san? What do you think?
We certainly can.
Yeah, I think we ought to. Unless you think there's something more pressing, we should.
When you mentioned Stardom, I thought maybe we're gonna have. They announced the Cinderella lineup today, and it was pretty interesting the way they.
Let's do that. Let's go through the Korakuen real quick, and then we can talk, and then we'll talk about the Cinderella lineup because I think there's important takeaways there too. The important thing I want you, because I've not seen this show, what I want you to explain to me is how Saya Ida and Hanan versus Chanyoda and Mai Sakurai for the New Blood tag titles is being received as like an incredible tag match, because on paper that doesn't seem possible, but you appear to feel that way as well, and I trust what you have to say. So how was it?
So obviously we're only we're into February, but this is my tag team match of the year so far. I love this match so much, and I'm a big fan of Wingori, Hanan, and Saya Ida. Mai Sakurai obviously has, she's been improving a lot, particularly obviously the character work's helping her get more and more over. Chanyotta, I have not seen too much of outside of like New Blood tags. I don't exactly follow PPP Tokyo or whatever it is she wrestles. But this one was just, I don't know where this match came from. It was just super physical. The highlights are obviously Saya Ida and Chanyotta's exchanges. I didn't realize Chanyotta was this kind of physical. And when you throw her in there with someone like Ida, who always brings that intensity, you had some incredible exchanges here. Hanan, obviously, again, always a standout, and I think she's in for a big year. But it was just, I don't know, they just both kind of came out swinging. I think, Mai Sakurai and Chanyotta, seemingly came out with something to prove in this one. Looking to kind of show how good they can be as a tag team. I'm kind of hoping that they're going to stick together. Obviously, Chanyotta isn't exactly signed or anything. I'm sure they can kind of bring her in as and when. But yeah, it was just super, super physical, super intense. Worked at a really nice pace, and it's just it's one of those matches that just kind of comes out of nowhere. But as you're watching it, it's kind of like you find yourself a little bit on your edge of your seat. Like there were points where I thought maybe Mai Sakurai and Chanyotta were going to take this, but just a match that I'd recommend everyone go and check out. Again, that kind of came a bit out of the blue, but tremendous tag match.
One of the things that's interesting about this match is that Chanyotta has 39 career wrestling matches. And she's wrestled 10 matches in the last 6 months. So whatever she's doing is working, I guess. But yeah, it's just cool. I love when wrestlers go above and beyond what people expect them to do. I always think that's awesome. And obviously these 4 did in this match, so good for them. And then in the main event, there was a no DQ match. I think some people thought there might have been a title change here, but it didn't end up happening. For the strong women's title, Julia defeated Natsuko Tora in the main event of Corkin.
Yeah, another one that this was a really nice match. I didn't enjoy it as much as I enjoyed the tag match, as I didn't anticipate myself saying, but it was very nice, very physical again. You know, your standard kind of no DQ match you'd expect out of these two. There were table bumps, you know, all the typical kind of tie shenanigans and physical stuff like that. But yeah, Julia obviously, you know, we kind of have a pretty solid idea of where she's heading moving forward. So I guess that's where the kind of title change expectations are coming. But seems like they're going to hold off a little bit on that. But I thought both had a pretty strong showing here. I'm a fan of Tora. I know not everyone's a big fan of Tora, but I thought she had a really, you know, I think she had a strong showing again here. And I think the aftermath of this is very interesting because I think I get the sense that they're heading towards a Natsuko Tora babyface turn, and I don't know what that looks like, but I think that's what they're doing. Whether that'll play into kind of people leaving the promotion and what maybe a Oedo tie will look like, or whether it will even be a Oedo tie moving forward, I don't know. But it seems like we could be heading that way, and I think. I don't know. I think it'd be interesting to follow, but a strong showing for both. Julia keeps the title. Yeah, we're just going to see whether when she actually drops that belt. It seems like she's not going to work Chicago, so I doubt she's going to get the Vicaire match in there before she heads out. But yeah, hopefully she's able to put someone over on the way out.
So I have the lineup for Cinderella, and people are talking because they're missing some big names in this lineup. But Ida, Kanan, Kogo, Yuzuki, Lady C, Miyu Amasaki, Yuna Mizumori, Sayaka Kurara, Rana Yagami, Saki Kashima, Hanako, Xena, Tora, SLK, Ruaka, Hazuki, Azumi, Mei Sera, Suzu, Mirai, Amisare, Waka, and Mai Sakurai is the lineup. They also announced that the buys that the people who receive a first round buy are Hazuki, Azumi, Suzu, Mirai, Sarai, Waka, and Mai Sakurai. And then, yeah, I mean, Scott E-Wrestling has a list of like all the roster that was not included, and it's Mayu, Utami, Saya, Momo Watanabe, Natsupoi, Tam, Sarianu, Shuri, sense, Mina Shirakawa, Tekla, names not in the tournament. I'm just curious what you think about this.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Obviously, there's always going to be speculation given like the ongoing Stardom situation, but I think just generally looking at it, taking that out of the equation, I like the change because I think the Cinderella, it's essentially become a white belt tournament, right? In the last couple of years, that's it's not explicitly that, but that's kind of where it often heads. And I like the direction of only really putting in wrestlers. I believe outside of Mirai, I don't think any of these have held the red belt or the white belt, unless I'm forgetting anyone else in that lineup. So I like it. It should give an opportunity to someone who hasn't had that opportunity yet, which I think is what this type of tournament should be for. Because as much as you could give this win to someone like I don't know, trying to think of hours of the names.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, like a Natsupoi. I don't think Natsupoi needs a Cinderella win to go for a white belt title match. I think we're going to get that anyway. Whereas I think if you gave it to someone like a Hanan, who is very clearly climbing up the ranks, but kind of needs that final push towards big time title contention, I think that could be really big. Or maybe someone like a Starlight Kid or a Azumi, to finally push them out of the high speed division and into kind of true kind of main event status. So I like it. All the rookies being in there again is nice because I think they're kind of developing pretty nicely. It's been my favorite rookie, but well, we haven't really had a proper rookie batch in a while, but it's been nice to see a lot of interesting rookies coming through all at the same time. So yeah, I like the change. Whether you think it kind of plays into the ongoing politics, I don't know, but I like it for what it is.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about on the show, or should it be that time, Jamie? What do you think?
Off the top of my head, I don't think there's anything.
Kind of a
else that
we've had such newsworthy weeks. It's weird. I mean, wasn't a huge show to recap or anything. Just doing some stuff. Hopefully, we have a nice, in-depth, newsworthy New Beginning in Sapporo review for you at this time next week. So, with that, Jamie, I think it is that time for where is it? The beast of the week. You can see me. Look at me. I'm muscle guy. I'm breaking out of my shirt. It's that time. It's that time. Murph texted me his. His is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. That's locked in. He did this thing a lot. It was made for cool pictures. For I think Collective, I know you're not the biggest fan, but I think he put in a 47-minute performance, and I think he deserves it. For Michael Oku, I think is a valid beast of the week for Collective. I imagine. I thought you wouldn't agree. For me, I'm gonna go with somebody on the FantaticaMania tour who does not get a ton of love in CMLL, but always does the requisite work to live up to, including losing his mask. I thought he was a great foil for somebody who is clearly the biggest star in the promotion right now, in the main event of the entire tour. Someone who I would not have pegged to be in the main event of the entire tour, but got it anyway and lived up to the billing. And that is Stuka Jr.
Nice. I love it.
Jamie?
He's been great. My beast of the week, I wasn't sure if you were going to mention the match, and then you snuck it in before I had the chance to talk about it in the beast of the week. My beast of the week is Chan Yotta, because where the fuck did this come from? You talk about how she's had like less than 40 wrestling matches, not many in recent times. I don't know. She was in there with good talent. I mean, like I said, I'm a big fan of the Wingori tag team, but again, they're not top of the Stardom totem pole. Just still a relatively kind of low down the card out, but just kind of out of nowhere, Chan Yotta really stood out in this match. Like I said, the exchange with Saida. I've seen a lot of the clips shared. One headbutt in particular. So I've seen that a lot on Twitter this week. They have both had pretty nasty bumps on the head after that one. But yeah, she came out with a lot to prove in this, and I think she absolutely stood out. I'm hoping that maybe she'll stick around a little bit more moving forward. Obviously, Stardom is at a very weird point, in its whether the roster's going to leave or stay, and I think that could also provide a bit of an opening for new talent to come in. So I think Bushiro will be wise to keep Chan Yotta around. I think she's a big, someone who has a lot of potential. So Chan Yotta is my beast of the week.
I like it. Chan Yotta, Stuka Jr., Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and Michael Oku are beasts of the week this week. Nice. Thank you all so much for listening. We will be back next week with a full New Beginning in Sapporo review. Hopefully some more stuff. Always newsworthy stuff happening, it seems, in Japanese pro wrestling right now. So for Jamie, for Murph, we will see you next time. Stay dumb.